What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Dudeality podcast, where our motto is living comfortably uncomfortable. My name is Ian Perez, joined by Jonathan Mercado, Victor Rivera, and Chris Zora. We're four ordinary dudes with extraordinary dreams. Jonathan, what's up, dude?
What's up, everyone? And today's episode, guys, we're gonna go straight into it. Last time we went a little overboard with the story. It was fun, it was cool, but this time I feel like we have a lot to go over, guys. Today's episode name is called, what is it? Failing Forward. Yeah, so Failing Forward is the episode name. But the topic we're going to be going over is learning through our failures, guys. Repeatedly, we go on through life of making the same mistake over and over again. And this could be in your business, your life, relationships, your fitness journey. And today we're going to be learning different strategies to break the cycle so that we can once again start pushing the needle forward and making progress. And before we get into all that juiciness, as always, we need to jump into the arena of fire. So that way we can see how we're pushing the needle forward, that we can keep us accountable. And maybe if you've been continue listening to us and maybe we've been saying the same thing and we're not, executing, maybe you want to call us out, go on the Facebook, not Facebook, we still haven't done the Facebook thing.
No, it's jump on that. I made a post. It's there.
Oh,
I just don't, share it as much as I do the other ones.
Go on the IG, right? Go on the YouTube and hold us accountable, guys. We need more accountability. But, off the bat, before we go into Ian, I texted Victor earlier this week if he was going to go get this book that he's been trying to get.
Yesterday.
Did he get the book?
Earlier this week. It's only Tuesday, bro.
I felt like it was like, was it Monday? What's today? Tuesday? Dang.
It's Tuesday.
Man, I feel like we've been trucking through these days. Oh, okay.
I know. I think we've been busy. We did a lot of stuff over the weekend. Normally, we don't have a lot going on. We were busy Saturday. Me, you were, and then we balled. Yeah, we balled on Sunday.
We had a lot of things happen. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, that's why.
But hey, I got the book, so so it's pretty good so far. I haven't read too much into it, but I'm liking it so far. So we'll see what we get out of it. So a lot of nuggets in there. So hopefully to get a lot of out of it. I don't know.
What's the book called?
It's just Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah.
I've seen I went to Target today and I saw him. He has a coloring book and I was gonna buy it for you since you weren't buying the book.
Shoot, I'll take that too.
That's funny.
I was at Target, was it Friday, and I was looking for the book there. I said, like, hey babe, let's go look at the book area. Maybe I'll find the book there so I don't have to go to Barnes and Noble. Oh, it wasn't there.
Yeah, I didn't see it. But yeah, man. Accountability. Real quick, you executed on a big event. How do you feel?
Oh man, I was telling you this over the weekend, man. I feel like a big low was lifted. So I was like nervous. So we had a big event with CG. It was me and another trainer kind of partnered together. We came up with everything together, but then we kind of had to take leads separately. You kind of had to go our separate ways to make everything work. And I got real nervous because we wanted to make sure I know to come out everything like right, but when you're working with other people, you have to depend on other people. You got to trust them for them to do the job, right? And then when someone like me, it's very, not that I don't trust you, but I get nervous because in my mind, I'm like, are they going to do it as good as I am? If they're preparing like I'm preparing, like what's going on? It's even worse when they don't communicate with you. When you shoot a text message or a message, it's like crickets. They're like, oh crap. Yeah. And you don't want to be overwhelming or micromanaging someone. You don't want
kind of like we were talking about last week.
Yeah, you don't want to do that because they won't like you. And next event, they won't even show up or something. So you still want to leave a bad impression. So, but everything turned out well. Everything turned out good. It was fun. People and campers enjoyed it. Everything worked out like it should. I was so relieved, and I had fun doing it. So I told my wife, man, I don't know why, but I just feel relieved. So this shouldn't make me feel so stressed or worried, but it did. And so
It was a big event, man. One of the biggest events that we had in a very long time.
Yeah, it was
But
successful. We had a whole bunch of people come out. It was awesome.
I heard nothing but great things, brother. So congratulations on leading your team through and executing a plan. So shout out to you, man. Mr.
Appreciate
Ian,
it.
my brother.
We balled again on Sunday. The win from that is I had fun. That's pretty much it.
Let's take the positives.
we got smacked.
No, let them know. Let them know who we played, bro.
I mean, so the backstory is we were supposed to have been in like the lower division, but there weren't enough teams that signed up. So they put the open division with the lower division together. We played an open division team. I think the shortest dude was, the shortest dude was maybe like 5'8", 5'9", but the rest are like 6 foot plus.
So maybe you need a little more backstory because this team, when I played last season, was the number one team. They were the number one team that we didn't play. And fortunately, we didn't play them because, it would have been a tough game, right? And
it probably would have been worse than what it was this past
I have no idea. It was a tough game. These guys, like Ian said, shortest dude. There's only one short dude on the team, and maybe he was like 5'7", but he didn't do much. Everyone else was 6'4", 6'5", built to play basketball. And it was a high intense game, man. Ian, all the reps that Ian's been putting in, all those wet shots he's been hitting me in my face. He drained a couple on some people, man.
Yeah, no, it felt good. So talent wise, they were good. Don't get me wrong, but I think where we lost was literally, they had 10 dudes, so they had legs, so they could run the entire time. And obviously, it helps when they have at least 3-4 dudes that are 6'4". Some are thick. Other guys just have leaping ability, and our tallest dude was maybe 6 foot, and he was a lanky kid. But we still made it competitive until about halftime, and then after that, I think our tired legs caused turnovers, and they made like a 15-0 run, and then it's kind of hard to come back after that. But
bro, we couldn't get no boards. Come on now, we couldn't get no boards whatsoever. Like they got every rebound.
I can bang, like I can body people, but when like side to side strength, awesome. Trying to go up, not happening. But it was fun. It was still good.
It was a good time, man.
Other than that, it was my brother-in-law's birthday. We just kind of chilled. My book, I'm still kind of lacking. I'm almost done now. I'll be done by the end of this month for sure. And then workouts, I still got to work out a couple times this week. It's Tuesday, so goal is at least 3 times a week.
You straight? What's up, Chris?
Yeah. Friday? Busy all morning, trying to get things rolling for the potential of the property. We weren't sure what was going to happen with that, so there's still like, it's looking like it's going to go well, but I'm just not going to like get my what's it called, my hopes up too high. Yeah, sorry.
There you go. I know you were trying for it. I was trying for it at the same time. I was trying to help you, but I couldn't even get it out.
But yeah,
I forgot to say, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like y'all had y'all's first investor this past week, and I don't know why I just forgot about it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or what. I'm just kind of proud by it because I'm very frugal with my money. So if I have y'all's go ahead, I'll definitely share. If not, they gotta wait till later.
But, I'm pretty sure Chris was gonna get into it, man.
Well, go on, tell him then. Don't let me.
So like we were looking at the numbers, and we try to get them to drop the price a little bit so it can help with our numbers, because it was looking like the renovations were going to cost a little more than what we were anticipating. So
the numbers still work. They still work.
The numbers still work, but it's like really pushing our limit.
Yeah.
And that's if there's nothing hidden that we find down the road.
Yeah.
But we were in a time crunch because we had until yesterday to either cancel the deal or keep going forward, or like without losing our earnest money. And And especially for us, like, I mean, we don't have that extra cash just laying around where we could have just lost the earnest money and it's no big deal. Like, I mean, so we're really pushing to get this started and get this done. So there was a lot of moving parts. I was talking on Friday. I was talking to the attorney. I was talking to the seller's attorney. I was talking to our broker. Had her talking to the contractor, like just trying to get everything going. But then I had a wedding to go to, so I had to kind of tag Jonathan, like, so he can go into the ring and take care of it. But yeah, so like after that, I gotta just chill a little bit, like enjoy the wedding, it was a nice wedding. Had a lot of fun. And then Monday, I had jury. So yesterday, I had jury duty, and apparently, it was the first time in 2 years for Williamson County to have an actual case where they had a jury. It was like, but then the defendant didn't even show up. Damn. So like, I mean, it worked out for me. Like I was there for maybe a little over an hour and got pretty much got the day off. So it allowed me to actually go and work out yesterday as well. So took advantage of the situation, even though I had a terrible migraine yesterday. I was like, I'm not going to let this get in the way. I need to get my workout in. So,
yeah, that's good, brother. Well, hitting obstacles, getting like preparing yourself to go into the unknown. You got to go into battle. Like you have to have the mindset that you're about to go into battle, and you got to be able to fight, and you got to have that you got to take quitting off the table. And so, we did come across, we could have made the deal work. We had a closing cost, all that kind of good stuff. We had the bare minimum to make everything happen, but you do need money up front out of your pocket to start getting the demo and everything started, right? Ideally, it's around 5K.
Permits,
yeah, permits. Get all that start running. Now, our private money lender is going to be sending us money to get these things started, but that's not until later. Like as soon as we make the purchase, we want to get things started now. So that's why you have to have cash flow, like capital right then and there to get everything to start pushing, right? And so, our broker is like, hey, 5K would do it, but ideally to be, have some comfort, have some flexibility, you need 10K. And so, it's like, shoot, we're kind of maxed out on everything to the T. Like we have just barely enough to close and do all that kind of good stuff. It's a big amount. And so, off the bat, we knew we have people, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So, we have our first private investor, not private investor. We got our first private money lender, which is Ian, my man, where he has 401k money sitting around, really not, seeing too much growth, right? And you're not, hopefully you guys, financial, literate enough to know that you're not going to retire off your 401k. You're going to need to do other things while investing and all that kind of sorts of goodness there. But, we pitch Ian the idea, hey, lend us 10K and you'll get 20% in return at the end of the deal, guys. And so he was able to, Ian, maybe describe your feelings about that, because you knew you wanted to jump into real estate, but you really didn't know how or, what to do with your money. But just like what the book say, guys, exactly what the book says is, you got to find ways to make your money work for you. Ultimately, that's end game. And so this is one way to do it. So Ian, how do you feel about it when we asked you? What was your approach? What was your mindset? Give us all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, initial thought is hell no. Like it's a lot of money, right? But I think just the podcast alone and then having y'all around and just having different views and becoming educated in different ways, that no faded kind of quick. Because there's a lot of fear, like, well, what ifs? But like me learning a lot from y'all and from reading and self-development. Yeah. I realized that money in my 401k, yes, eventually I'll need it. God willingly, I get to, 65, 70 years old, but like right now, that's making some money in the market, but I don't, just based off y'all's idea and my trust in y'all, it's going to make me a little bit of money that, can go towards a down payment on my first home that I, maybe purchase, live in and sell, or if I'm in a tight spot or anything like that. But to be quite frank and quite honest, my first thought of why I wanted to do it is just to help y'all out. I mean, y'all have y'all's journey, and if I can help y'all succeed, then it's a win in my book as well.
Serving others is always a win, brother, right? It always fulfills the heart, man. So, shout out to you. We appreciate you so much, and thank you, right? You're part of the journey. So is Victor, because we're all here. We show up every week, no matter what, and we're continuing just to push things forward. And so, I guess the part of the reason why you did it is because you see us constantly, trying to get better, right? You see us showing up, you see the execution that we've been able to do. And so, don't just go asking anybody for money, because they're going to be able to look at your track record. Like, what is your track record? Boom. So that's why you really got to, be careful on how you move, what you say, and
how you present yourself.
Yeah, how you present yourself in everything, right? And so stay on the lookout, everyone. You got to be on your P's and Q's. You don't ever want to hurt any kind of relationship that you have, because we serve each other and we can help each other grow. But for me, guys, as far as, my self-development, my accountability, 75 hard is basically keeping me in check. It's been a breeze. I'll have some moments where I do want some alcohol, because there is a strong habit of some triggers. I spoke about the book. What is it? Willpower Doesn't Work, and how certain things can trigger you to do things, right? And so I just can't rely on willpower to make me stop drinking. So I completely just eliminated alcohol in my house. So when I do have that trigger, normally when I'm trying to be creative, or I'm cooking and I'm listening to country music, that right there triggers me like to the max.
Dude,
I hear country music and I'm grilling, and I'm like, where's my beer? Like, beer, where'd you go? That right gets me so bad, man. And so, I did change a habit for another habit. Now I'm drinking tea. I'm drinking tea. Now, it does have calories, because I didn't do the I'm doing the sweet tea, brother. But
I'm with you, bro.
But I'm drinking right now.
there it is, man. But yeah, so everything's been moving. Everything's been good. Fatherhood for me has just been amazing right now. My 10-year-old has found his love, a spark. I didn't really know if he was going to find that spark. Some people don't find the spark, guys, until later in life, where it lights somebody up, and all they want to do, they become obsessed with this, and they just keep pushing forward. For me, it was basketball. Like, that's the thing that you couldn't get me back inside. And so he's been skateboarding nonstop. He's been watching hours on hours on top of YouTube videos, researching. He's been skateboarding every day. And when he's not on his skateboard, he's in skateboarding in the house, practicing ollies. So it's just pretty exciting. It's pretty freaking exciting to be in this moment, to see him light up, to see all my kids do something that they really love. I'm in a good space as far as fatherhood, and just good space in general. It's been good, guys. But man, before we jump into, all the important stuff we're about to learn through our failures and how do we do that, Ian has a funny little topic real quick, man.
Yeah. So for a year, would you rather be sticky or itchy? Just for a year, like constantly sticky, constantly itchy.
I'd rather be sticky, bro.
I'd probably be sticky.
I'd rather be sticky.
Dog. Okay, so think about it. The stickiness in the back of your knee and stickiness in your junk. I'd rather be itchy than sticky. I'm then
you gotta think about all the scabs. How annoying.
Yeah, you're gonna be scratching, bleeding,
slapping.
Maybe I could
bleeding.
But nah, that stickiness just everywhere. Like, I mean,
Does the stickiness taste good?
Sorry, not. It's
Okay,
sweat and dirt.
Got awkward quick.
Sound like a no-brainer for me, brother.
Yeah, I think I'd rather be sticky
bad.
for sure.
Man, I gotta throw Victor under the bus, man.
Uh-oh.
Remember that? You don't even know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Y'all remember that text thread? I made a comment about, would you rather, would you rather die by a giant, big ass gorilla the size of an elephant, or would you rather die by 100 little mini monkeys? Which one would you rather die by? 100 mini monkeys or a big ass gorilla, gigantic? And so I got thrown on the bus because I tried to use it at camp the other day, and they're like, Victor already talked about this. And I was like, what? And he was the one that was talking stuff in the text that said, this is stupid. I ain't answering it. I know he was just playing. He used it already.
I was laughing. And
He
Liz
was
was like, "Why are you
trolling.
laughing?" He was like, "I'm trolling Jonathan."
He's trolling.
Yeah, I asked him the next day. It was funny.
I was
I
like,
mean,
man, you
I'll-
ruined my little topic, man. I was like stunned. I didn't know what to say. I was like, leg lifts. Let's just move on.
That's
I mean, on
funny.
that topic, I feel like I got a better chance against 20 mini gorillas than a giant.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
yeah. I don't think we spoke about it on the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, one camper said, "You know what? I'll do the big gorilla and try to outrun it. I'll get him tired." Yeah, I was like, you know, that's a good idea. I can run 8 miles. Eat
yep,
like
that wasn't the
struggling.
question. The question, which one would you rather die by? So you're dying.
Oh, die! That was fight. I was like, I guess you gotta catch me first, but okay.
Which one would you rather die by? Yeah, there you go.
that's the case, then the big one-
Then I'll stick with my 100 monkeys thing. Yeah.
If I know I'm dying, the big one, it'll be fast. Little one.
Yeah, I
might take a
think
while.
I was thinking probably the big one too, because then it's like it'll be a much quicker process than like
That's what she
a
said.
bunch of monkeys, monkeys attacking you at one time, like just tearing you apart. Like, yeah, I don't know about that.
So I'd rather go out with a little bit of dignity, guys. I'd rather take out, a couple monkeys while I'm dying, go out with some pride. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just, take the easy route, just get knocked out and die. I'd rather, choke a little monkey out. Yeah.
That's fine. I'll be watching from heaven, just laughing at your ass.
He's already dead. He's,
Aw,
he's in
man.
heaven enjoying.
I went
Ain't
out
even heard of
fighting. You went out you went out like wanting to die off of one punch. So I don't know if you're making it to heaven, brother. I went out like,
It's not really a choice.
right. All right, guys. Hey, let's jump into it, guys. We want to be learning through our failures, basically failing forward. This is a great topic. We had actually a couple of us, I think it was Victor and Chris, maybe. They had the same topic in mind. Victor and Ian had the same topic in mind. And this is a goodie because there's so many pieces of this topic that we can break apart and help out because there's so many different scenarios we can play in. But as I was looking at the topic, it reminded me of a situation. I want to start with a story so that we can be able to just break it apart. And during this story, I want you to try to connect with it. And so as me, every podcast we do, I can always relate back to my kids and the lessons that I try to teach them. Unfortunately, when I was a kid, nobody was there for me to try to break this apart. But let me just go ahead and jump into it. Last year, my son played football. He played football, and it was his first real season playing football. He's done flag football, but it's his first real season of actually playing football. And as any kid, I think majority of the kids, they want to be running back, quarterback, wide receiver, right? They want the ball, right? Majority, let's just say majority, okay? And, comes tryouts, you have an opportunity to go try out for a position. Like you have that opportunity, no matter who you are, you have an opportunity to go try out. Even if there's like no chance in hell, coach is like, hey, running backs over here, go where you want to go. And we'll move you where you need to move you. And, he told me what he wanted. And the next day I asked him, hey, did you try for those spots? And he said, no, I didn't. I was too scared. And I was like, all right, I'm not trying to beat him up for it. And I understood that he was scared and he didn't want to try out, right? That's a big thing. You never really even played that position. You don't have no idea what to do, but you got scared, even though that's what you wanted. And therefore he was on the line doing something he really didn't want to do. Right. So he went through the whole season, on the line, probably the smallest dude on the line, but he really didn't know what he really wanted. So he got put in a position where he was just thought he would fit best. So he played the whole year, wasn't really that fun because it really wasn't what he wanted. And so come tryouts this year, he's in 8th grade now. I didn't give him no speech, give him nothing. And he goes and tries out. I come home. I was like, hey, what's up, man? What'd you try out for? What happened? He's like, tried out for running back. And I was like, all right, cool, man. He's like, yeah. I was like, did you find out anything? He's like, no, I won't know until next week. I was like, okay, bet. I was like, hey, man, no matter what happens, brother, like, no, I'm got to give you your props for even trying out for running back. Like, I just got to give you props because last year you chickened out, bro. You chickened out big time. And therefore you suffered this consequence of what if you played this what if game, you had this regret the entire year that, you didn't get to try out. And it was actually one of your friends last year was running back and you were just as good, not if just better. So I'm pretty sure it was even harder to have one of your best friends do the position you did when knowing you can compete. Like that's gotta eat you away. And so it comes back, man. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. I was like straight up, this fool was making B team. I mean, just because the game plan he had set in place, he really didn't have no experience, man. Some of these kids, 8th grade, by then, they done years of Pop Warner. They done years of that specific, I'm running back. And, that's like, it's a slim chance of hell of him actually making the 18. But what really happened is what he made the 18 running back.
That's
and
awesome.
I was all like, whoa. He's like, but I'm
Nice,
thirsty.
dude.
I was like, no. I was like, I don't think you grasped what just happened. I was like, progress is progress, fool. Last year, you didn't even think you had a chance. Therefore, you never even gave yourself the opportunity. This year, you tried it. And yes, you made 18. Yes, you're third string, but that don't mean shit, bro. Your opportunity, there's an opportunity coming. There's opportunity coming. And now guess what? You get to actually try to do what you wanted to do. And so I was thinking about this, learning through your failures. I'm like, oh, he learned. Cool. I'm going to try something that I actually want to do versus just settle. And so I asked him yesterday while I was cooking, I was like, hey, man, I need to ask you a question. It's like, serious question, son. What made you do it? And he gave me the chills. He gave me the freaking chills. Some self-development, guys. Whole nother level. My son does it. And he was all like, I want to know what scoring feels like. I was like, oh, bro, I don't understand what he just said, but me doing self-development, me doing all this, trying to do generation wealth and doing everything that I possibly can to grow myself and get better so I can take care of everyone around me is because I want to know what it feels like to win. Why not me? Like, bro, it gave me the chill, like just translate it. I just had this crazy feeling. I was like, he wanted it to, I just want to know what it feels like. And I'm like, bro, I want to know what it feels like. Like, I want to touch it. I want to know what it feels like. I was like, oh my gosh, you don't know until you try. And son, I don't give a what team you're on. You just doing that right there. It just gave me like everything that you've been reading and learning and, growing through your struggles, brother. Like, I don't care even if you ever get to touch the field. That right there, that you're able to grab that concept is applicable to anything in life. And so how many people do you know, maybe you felt this, is that you could have done something somebody else is doing right now, but you were too scared to take that chance. How many of us are going through that, bro?
I mean, I still do it now. And it's weird to think, like, you bring up your son, like, if you think about it, like, at a young age, the concept of failure is not even a thing, right? Like, at an itty bitty age, we don't know how to walk, so we fail, and then we start to crawl, right? And you go from crawling to walking, and at that age, it's not even a concept that you're failing or doing anything wrong. It's just you keep going until you're brave enough to take your first step, and you just keep going, and you start running. But I mean, there's been plenty of times. Like for me, I loved sports. I played soccer. I played club soccer. I could have gone to play JUCO soccer. And in my head, I said I'm better than JUCO soccer, but in reality, it was fear. It was my excuse. It was fear of I don't know anybody there. I don't want to go. What if I don't make the team? This and that. And I put myself on a higher pedestal. I mean, I might have been better, but I wouldn't have known. Yeah, I wouldn't have known that I was better than JUCO soccer if I didn't actually go and play.
Because you could have potentially bumped up to a regular university or college.
Oh yeah, because I mean, there's plenty of D1, D2 soccer schools in Austin or even Dallas, and the school was in between both of them. So I could have, but I didn't. And I'm not gonna say I regret not doing it. Do I wish I did? Yes, but regret no, because the choices that I've made have gotten me to the point in my life right now, and I love my life now. But obviously, it's not the end, right? What do you say? A comma, semicolon, not a period.
So it's not a period, baby. It's a comma. The thing keeps going.
Yeah, but that's my one example at least.
If you weren't self-developing, and you didn't shift your mindset to that it's not over, do you think you would have regret? Because you wouldn't know, like you might play that what if game, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, damn, what if I did go play JUCO and then like I killed it and
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%.
So
but then again, like that self-development, and you're like, okay, well, that didn't work out, but that doesn't mean that it's done. Like the odds of me going to play soccer now, very slim and few, but the odds of me building a legacy for my family, it's still being written. So it's not done.
Man.
Oh, it's deep. I would say the only thing the one thing I really regret is two things. Is one, not trying out for a college team right out of high school. I had the connection. I had a friend that was starting that was playing, and he invited me to play because he knew me from high school. But I didn't even try out. So I was similar to your son, that like I showed up and then I saw all these tall fools like scrimmaging, and like they were in the middle of their practice, and then I'm like, oh, like, in my mind I literally said I'm not gonna get any playing time because I was short. I was, compared to them, I was short.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I didn't. And the other thing is not sticking with college when I had my son. I thought I couldn't do both. I couldn't provide for my family and then go to school, and that was a dumb decision.
I feel like that's a common theme, is where we try to justify doing something that we can get out of.
So that's two things I out of fear, right? Out of fear of being hard, or thinking, you know what, I'd rather put my energy into something else than this because it's not going to work out, you know. So that was what was going through I was justifying, I was rationalizing my decision of not doing that.
You were trying to gather your own evidence, as in this couldn't work. You were trying to draw your own conclusion, trying to pull cherry picked evidence. Well, I'm tired, I'm busy. Oh, I need to work more. You know, I need to provide for my family. Like, you start bringing family in it, you start, oh, that's all the evidence I need by college. You're not producing for me right now.
Yeah, so those two things that I remember, out of fear, out of doubt, out of all these things, that I didn't go forward with it. That was probably the only time that I remember like something holding me back, right? And I didn't even try it.
Yeah, I can relate to the college like sports thing. Like I was pretty good at jumps in track and field. Like the long jump was probably my weakest thing, but like long, triple, and high jump, like I would see the results from these meets from these college teams. Like while I was still in high school, I was jumping farther than a lot of these people in like actual universities too, not just junior colleges, but I didn't pursue it, like, because I think I probably was scared. I think it was more just to go to probably to a 4-year. Like I think I made the excuse like, oh, I don't even really know what I want to do yet, and why would I waste the extra money going to a 4-year college? I'll just go to a junior college. And then the school that I went to didn't have a track team, so I didn't join the track team. So like it just kind of like snowballed from there. But I think one that I think is a lot more tangible for anyone really, is like, how about like when like there's a girl that you like, but you're too scared to make that move. And like,
so
and then you find, and then sometimes you friend zone yourself before they even friend zone you, because you don't want to get hurt. And then you find out later on down the road, like years down the road, like that she liked you too. And like, so like that's something like you always think, oh, what if this happened? What if? I mean, it obviously worked out for me. Like I got my wife now, but like when you're in middle school, high school, like
I like how you said that, getting those brownie points right there.
But yeah, when you're in middle school or high school, and you're like, especially if you're not like one of the popular guys, or you hang out with the popular guys, but you're not like up there like with the top like of them, like it could be demoralizing at times. And
I'm sorry. I try to friend y'all. I let y'all in my I just played. No, so you know, we speak about learning through our failures, and unfortunately, these people right here never took a shot, so they don't even get to touch the failure part, right? They're playing it safe. So they don't have to feel the failure, but they have to feel the feeling of regret, which is it's even riskier than trying to pursue what you really want, because now you have that pain that never leaves. Like you always now in your heart have the what if, that pain that will sit there and it'll last and it'll linger and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth every time you speak about it. Or you could have the pain of trying it, temporary pain, feeling it, and then able to make an adjustments as necessary. But before we go further into that aspect, I do want to make it very clear. I was thinking about it, and I want to be able to relate to every single person here, even listening, whatever you are, whatever career you are, whatever entrepreneur, business, 8 to 5, husband, wife, relationship, fitness goals. Guys, there's levels to this. And, today we want to talk about learning through our failures. The first people don't even get the opportunity to see our failures, but there's different types of people. All right, level 1 are those people who avoid failure so that we don't have to feel it, but in actuality, they're in the worst case scenario. Level 2, guys, they're the people that do the things repeatedly, but keep making the same mistake over and over again. Right? So let's stop. We're gonna stop at each tier. And the second one, we'll dial back in to see how we can correct these things. But let's make sure it's tangible. Somebody can relate to level 2. So when I spoke about somebody trying something but making the same mistake over and over again, what do you think of? What examples? What can you translate? What can you pull apart there? What comes into mind?
When I think of that, I just think of when people, I guess, to use Einstein's definition of insanity. Like, it's insane. Like you keep making the same mistake over and over, expecting something different, like a different outcome to come and happen. And
I'm glad you said that.
Now,
so what do we normally do that in? Like, what's the biggest thing that we do that in?
I mean, typically yourself or fitness. Yeah. Yeah. You expect a diet to change, but are you really dieting? You expect to like gain muscle, but are you really working out? Like I myself do that. Like I understand that. Like I get you can't really get pissed off too much for not dropping where you're being fit, because at least for me, like I'm not consistent, so I can't expect anything to happen if I'm not consistent.
It's one of the hardest things that I feel like me and Victor see that I have to see and experience is every year you get the same people wanting to change, wanting to, really make an impact on their health and fitness, but they're running the exact same playbook as they did 2020, 2019, and 2018. And the playbook's the same, the results the same. You aren't getting anywhere closer, but you're still running the same playbook, and it blows my mind. Like it completely, like, what is the mindset? Why do you think why do you think we're doing the same exact thing? Like, what is that? Why?
I think most people, because I was the same, is you just say, oh, I just gotta try it again. I just gotta try harder. Or like, yeah, the same thing though, right? So, and instead of thinking of ways, different ways, right, or doing a little bit more research on that area to improve, because I think we've mentioned it before. I think we said a lot of times that there's other people before us that have done things, have been successful at whatever area you're trying to be good at. You just gotta look to those people, learn from their failures and their successes, and apply what they did to yourself and see the results. But I think most people don't even venture out. They're just kind of in their own maze, right? And just have, and just try to go through the maze the same way. So, okay, now I gotta go back. I'm gonna try it again and try to see if they can get out the same maze, same way, same trail, but they're still like going back to the same dead end, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think for most people, right, in fitness, professionally, maybe they're just, I just gotta try harder, or I gotta do this, but not really changing like the method that you're doing something.
I think a good thought process as to why people keep doing the same thing is because you often hear from multiple different things that it takes repetition to perfect something. But if you're not taking like a lesson from each time you fail at that thing and not adjusting it, you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, but you're not actually improving because you're not doing anything different. Yeah, you're repeating it, but you're just not doing anything to change what you're doing. So you're going to keep making those same mistakes.
I think there's a difference between when we're talking about, and I want to clarify, when we're talking about repetitions, we mentioned this too. We say put in your reps, right? We say that a lot.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between putting your reps to get better at a specific skill and then doing the same thing over and over without, making improvements on the process. So there's different, like if I'm basketball's really easy, right? If I shoot, if I got my mechanics right, and I just repeat this motion over and over again, eventually my muscle memory is going to catch on and I'm going to start making them, right? But, that's different. Reps for a skill. But, if I'm trying to, learn chess, that's different. I'm not going to continue making the same move and then losing. Like,
yeah,
I gotta.
But can you see how that's
moves
confusing for people? Like,
yeah.
like, yeah.
So I think I'm trying to differentiate here. Like, okay, when you say, hey, put in your reps, like trying to get a skill down, like, and then trying to be successful or win at something, that it takes like a, more methodical thought of like, okay, if I went A, B, and C, and that got me nothing, maybe I need to change the way I do A, the way I do B, and the way I do C to get to the result I want, right?
Now, I want y'all to remember this because we're going to circle back around to level 1, level 2, and give the tangibles how to correct it. But right now, I just want you to relate. Level 1, they're not taking those shots. Level 2, you're trying, you ain't making no adjustments, and you repeatedly fail. And you're in a cycle. You're in the rat race, guys. And so level 3 and level 4, we're not going to touch on too much because at the end of the day, you want to be level 3 and level 4. Now, there's a quote. I'm not going to quote it, but I'm going to give you the concept of it. Level 3 is you try and fail, but you learn from your mistakes, right? There's 3 types of people. I guess I'll quote it, right? There's 3 types of people. There's people who make mistakes, who don't make adjustments. There's people who make mistakes and they do make adjustments. And then we're about to touch on level 4. What do you guys think level 4 is?
You fail and win. I'm just kidding.
There's even a higher level than you making adjustments and failing.
I don't know. Enlighten us.
Y'all don't know that quote? Oh man, it's a common quote. Common's not common. Sorry, guys. My bad. All right, so the last one, level 4, the highest tier, is you want to learn from other people's mistakes and make adjustments.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Wise man.
Yeah, so there you go. I knew y'all knew it, but y'all were like too methodical. Y'all like, oh, this one's deep. So level 3, level 4 ideally is where you want to be at, guys, but there are tiers to it. And before you can get to each level, you got to be able to master one after the other. And so this is where I want to circle back around. I really want to target the people who avoid taking those risks. Why do they avoid taking those risks? And how can we help them start taking more risks? Like we got to help them out, guys, because we've all been there where you don't take the shot. And then you have to this is the worst tier to be in. And then you have to live with regret forever versus temporary pain. Right. And so let's start all right, how can we shift them?
I mean, if I was talking to someone that's too afraid to try something, I would let them know, one, you probably have the skill, like to your son, right? You probably have everything you need to try out for this position. You're just too scared to. So one is just getting over your own fears, right? Talk it out. Like, why are you afraid to try this? Go through and then say, you know what? Let's talk through. What's the worst scenario? Scenario 1, you attempt it, you fail. Okay, how about you attempt and maybe you make it? Let's say it works out. You never know. But I think the most important one is that not only if you try it, but then it doesn't go right or you fail, but you're going to grow from it. So I think I would say, hey, if you try something, you fail, you're going to see growth. You're going to grow from it. You're going to learn something, right? You're going to learn something about yourself. You're going to learn something about the process. You're going to learn something. Then if you don't try, then you don't, there's no growth, right? There's not going to be any growth. You're going to be just the same spot you've always been. So for those that have maybe a skill like to bake, like you're really good at baking, but you're too afraid to launch your own business, do it. You have the skill. You're going to learn the process of how to be your own business owner. You're going to learn how to, you're going to learn cost versus profit. You're going to learn all those things. So there's always something, you're going to learn something. So I think, I would say if you're too scared to try something, just do it, either just for the process, experience, and the growth that you're going to have at the end.
That's it, brother. What you got?
So when you make a mistake, a lot of time you don't want to own it. So the first thing is you need to own your mistakes. Because if you don't own them, then it's a lot of time you don't even realize that either you don't realize you made the mistake or you just don't want to acknowledge it. But once you do make that mistake, it's important to kind of reframe how you feel about that mistake. Because most people, when they make a mistake about something, they're going to have a negative thought about it. But instead, if they turn it into, oh, what lesson can I get from this mistake so I can improve on it the next time, that'll help them move forward, because then they can get over it because they finally owned up to it and then they looked at it in a different light. And there's something that I had read that I thought was actually really good. Like, making a mistake is not the same thing as failing. A failure is the result of a wrong action, whereas a mistake usually is the wrong action. So like when you make a mistake, you can learn from it and fix it. But when you fail, you're just learning from it.
No, you're right. So this is how, Ian talked about, as we're growing up from babies to older adults, we don't have this sense of fear or sense of failure, right? It is programmed into us by our environment, right? Society says we're going to make fun of you if you fail at this. Society says if you don't pass this test, you're dumb, right? So we are like instilling these fears into our kids as they're growing up. And so I think the biggest problem is you're looking at these fears and struggles and diversity and oppositions just totally the wrong way. So your mindset needs to change first. Before you do anything, you always need to evaluate where your mindset's at. That's the first thing that needs to change. And something that I started teaching my kids is, every failure is a must. That is the opportunity to grow. Like when there is failure, that you need to go touch it. If you want to grow, you want to get better, failure is part of the game. There's no other way around it. We need to fail. We need to fail more often, and we need to fail forward. A failure is part of growth. If you're hiding away from failure, you're not growing. Like I'm instilling it so much. I'm going to put it on the walls. Like my kids growing up, the two littles, because unfortunately I did put the perspective on my two oldest as like, dad's going to get mad when you mess up. You missed that ball. But, I managed. I'm trying to play catch up here. I'm trying to reprogram. That's hard because right now that's us. We've been programmed this way. So right now dad's trying to reprogram, rewire our new train of thoughts. Every failure is a blessing. Like you have to understand that God put that failure, put that opposition, put that adversity in your life for a reason for you to get stronger. Like you have to shift that right here, right now. If you're listening and you're scared of failure, you're missing out on what God has planned for you. Like you have to feel it to grow, no matter what. So it's a blessing. So now I tell my kids, every failure, every opposition, every adversity you go through is a blessing, and it's an opportunity to get better. That's it.
You're reframing that mindset. So
that's what we have to do. We have to start with the reframing. Like it has to, because if not, man, you're just like, no, it's hot, brother. I know what falling feels like. I'm not about that life. It hurts, but kids fall, get up all the time. I had experienced this when I went so my son's skateboarding. He's going to skate parks. I took him to downtown Austin. He doesn't know what falling feels like. He's falling up the ass everywhere. Cool. He's getting right back up. But I want to be a part of that experience with my children. I just want to be better than my kids at everything they do. I don't know what it is. It's my dad thing. I just got to dominate my kids at whatever they do. They play video games, I'll whoop that ass, whatever. And so I'm like, I'm a skateboard too. But I took my first fall, man. And I got a cherry on my hip and I felt it hurt. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is what I want to be trying to do. Like, my son's already at the point. He's only been doing this for like a month in, and he's already going down the half pipe. Like he's calling the drop in, like where it's like you drop in, and he's going higher and higher and higher. And I can't even do this little one because I know what it feels like, man, and it hurts. I'm getting old.
Yeah. It hurts more when you're
Yeah,
old. You're
yeah,
like
it's a
in
lot
your
different.
30s.
I need
like-
somebody.
I
I
do
need somebody to
like
11.
reprogram me when it comes to skateboarding, because that's actual pain. I
You
can
need your
take
hip.
like growth pain, mental pain, but actual pain. Like, son, this one's up. You got me on this one, brother. Go take the wing. But in all seriousness, you got to reprogram the brain is step one. Step two is being self-aware. No, step one is actually self-aware who you are. Are you the person that doesn't take the risk and understand that that's the worst position you can be in? That's where pain lasts forever. You don't want to be there. Like, that's not a place you want to be. And then you need to shift your mindset and reprogram everything that you ever thought about failure, that it's bad, that dad's going to get mad if you miss the ball, Johnny. No, that's just an opportunity to get better. Oh my God, I need to be happy. You got to be like, we need to celebrate your failure and make that a great thing. We need to shift it. And so I think that's a great place for our first starters, level one. Like, shift it. Right now is your opportunity. If you're listening to the car, shift it. Oh, I don't know if you saw me on the YouTube vids, but I did like the shift control because I said you're in the car. That's a shift it. All right, cool. Anyways, so I want to be able to help level two. Now, I think level two, I think majority of us have been in level two for quite some time, and it's really hard to get out of. And you guys actually dropped some nuggets about how to get out of level two. Level two is you're repeatedly doing the exact same thing and nothing's really changing. And so I have a couple of different directions and some stuff to add, and maybe we can go on another topic about it. But let's get level two out of the rat race. Let's break the cycle and let's help level two out. How do we get them from stopping doing the same thing over again and expecting the same result? We want to see you push the needle, guys.
Yeah, I think a couple of things you can do is learning from other people that have done it before you, right? I mentioned that. And learning from them, right? And that could be from reading books,
develop.
Yeah. So, reading books, taking classes, of something, right? There's courses out there you can pay for, right? Mentorship, right? Some of you guys already doing mentorship. I've reached out, in my time to other people that are, higher levels than me, that I've said, hey, I want to get to where you are. I want to get to this, what do you recommend, I do? What do I need to look into to get me to that spot? And they give me, their advice, like, oh, I want you to do this. So I think it's just going out and getting resources to improve yourself in whatever process that you're doing, right? So if you've been doing something a certain way, I'm like, okay, analyze, all right, I'm doing something wrong somewhere, right? I feel this is right, but maybe this other part, feel like I'm always feeling at this point of this process, right? So I'm like, okay, let me rethink this. Let me go and read up on whoever, right, that have done this before, or let me reach out to someone else, right? So, and learn, like, okay, tell them what you're going through. And then they'll be like, okay, it's what you're doing wrong. You need to do this, X, Y, Z. And you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. And it's probably the simplest thing. But I think it's just analyzing what you're doing, identify the areas that need improvement, go ahead and improve yourself either via mentorship, via reading a book, a course somewhere, right? And then go ahead, all right, make the changes. What is the word? Not imply. I forgot the word.
Implement.
Thank you.
Implement. I got it.
Implement.
Where you at, Chris?
It works the same way.
Yeah. Implement the improvement and then try it out again, right? And hopefully gets you a different result, or gets you closer to where you want, right?
Closer.
So that would be, I think, the first step, or one of the steps you can do to like get better. Yeah.
Tangible. Self-develop.
Yeah. Vic just kind of touched on what I was going to talk about, like as far as analyzing your mistakes. You need to ask yourself like those questions, like, what was I trying to do? What went wrong? Like, when did it go wrong? And why did it go wrong? And then once you figure out the answers to those questions, you need to make sure, like you just said, you implement it, like the lessons you learn from it. And then more importantly, on top of that, once you do implement it, you also need to make sure that you're reviewing your work.
Tracking.
So you see, so you're tracking it. So you see that, like, is what you're doing, is the changes you made actually benefiting you or not?
Oh, that's straight up fitness 101. Data don't lie, brother. And the reason why you aren't tracking, because you know you ain't doing the shit that you need to be doing, like point blank, period. And let me identify the real reason why you are in level 2 and why you're not moving forward is because you're in your emotions. You want to be right. You're not listening to nobody. You already, like Ian said, you already drew out the conclusion, trying to pull the evidence of why this is going to work. Because let's just say fitness. Every year you jump on the fitness journey, you do the exact same thing you did last year. Every year you lose 5 to 10 pounds. Awesome. Great. And you keep telling yourself it works, but it doesn't last. But you keep telling yourself it worked, it worked, it worked. So you keep drawing the same conclusion. You're in your emotions. You're not listening to nobody else, like, because you already know the answers in your head. So you're closed-minded because it worked last time for that month or two. So it's going to work this time. And like Victor said, you're just going to try harder. So that's why you're stuck in level 2, is because you're probably hard-headed. Point blank, period. You're not listening to nobody because you feel you already drew the conclusion out. You drew the evidence. You did some data. You saw some success, but which in actuality, you didn't do the data of why you failed. So yes, learn from your wins, but also in our last podcast, you gotta learn from the losses. And that's what this podcast is talking about, is learning through your failures. Failing forward is identifying that piece of where it went wrong. Like, where's that one piece that went wrong, and analyzing and moving forward. But you're just so caught up in your emotions that you can't see anything. You know, I relate real quick. Yeah, you ever have those friends where your parents say they're no good, but you're like, they're cool with you and they're doing all the right things, but your parents are like, bro, they're gonna diss you. Like, it's coming. Like, they know it. Like, they have that feeling, they know it, but you're drawing all these conclusions out. Well, they're calling me to the house, they're telling me all this, and then y'all get into a situation and they book it on you. Right? That's the same thing. You keep drawing this. You already made up your mind that they're your friends. Nobody else is going to tell you any different. I feel like that's level 2. That's the reason why you are literally at where you're at and you can't move. You're unwilling.
You got to be humble, man. You got to be humble. Take that humble pie and be like, okay, I'm not doing it right. Let me reach out, or let me do things differently. Right. So you got to be a little humble as well. Take that L, but then take that L and then move forward.
Yeah. All right. We talked about, we related, level 3 guys. If you're in level 3 and you're making moves and you're learning from mistakes, great, guys. Like, you're moving the needle. You're going in the right direction. Just keep pushing, quitting off the table. You're tracking, you're habit stacking. Like, you're doing all the things, guys. Just keep pushing forward. You're never going to know all the right answers. And then you're going to get to the point where you're going to start just working more efficiently and effectively, and you're going to put yourself around amazing people, and they're going to start learning from them before you even make your mistakes. Boom. That's like the elite level, guys. And so, man, shout out to you guys if you're there, but keep moving forward, because it never ends. There's always a comma. I do want to talk about one quote because I know we're running out of time, but if this quote doesn't change you from level 1 to level 2, just stop listening to us.
No, don't stop listening. Join us for the next episode.
All right, it's a long ass quote, and I'm sure everyone here knows the quote because it's basketball relatable. It's from Coach Carter.
Oh, I like.
I know this one. Yeah. I gotta know this one. It's the longest quote there is. Don't take the shots. Like, this is bigger than you. Let's go on with the quote. All right, Coach Carter. I forgot the guy who said it. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond belief. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we consciously give other people permission to do the same. And as we liberate from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. What does that freaking mean? And why should level 1 let that sink in? And you should probably put that on your mirror when you wake up every day and just read it.
or just put it on YouTube and just play that clip.
What does that even mean? It's a long quote to break down. Level 1, come on.
I mean, I'm trying to replay it in my head. We're more powerful. We're so powerful that we hold ourselves back in a sense, right? There's so much possibility, right? At the beginning, there's so much pride. There's so many. There's goals, and it becomes, I think, too much for some people that they fear failing at getting it to that point. So at the very beginning, you see everything; it's a clear picture, but you yourself hold yourself back, right? But by continuing and actually trying for those goals, that fire, that light starts to shine brighter and brighter within you, right? And then it's infectious. It spreads through family, spreads through friends, taking away the darkness of failure, taking away the darkness of not being able to live up to what they expected, right? So from a level 1, let your light shine, man. You're on this earth for something, right? It doesn't matter if you see it as being big or strong or big or small. There's meaning behind it. So why not, actually do something about
I
it?
feel you, bro. Y'all catch it differently?
Yeah, like I was thinking, like part of it. Yeah, I mean, people always talk about don't be afraid to fear, or don't fear failure. But like part of that quote made me think is like, don't be afraid to succeed as well. I think he had mentioned something about don't be afraid to let the light shine or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like a lot of times people are afraid to do what they need to do to get to the success. Not as much. I mean, failure is obviously a part of it, but they're afraid of what they actually need to do to reach that level of success that they're aiming for. And I actually had a quote too that kind of relates to it. I mean, it works well for the level 1 that you were talking about. It was like, too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears.
Ouch. Like you're accepting living in your fears. Ouch. Now the way I catch both of them is you're being selfish. You're being straight up selfish. Like totally selfish by you not taking shots, because you don't know if you took them shots, how many people you could serve and how many people you can impact. And you got kids watching you, and you not taking shots, your son, your daughter, your family, your uncle, your sisters, your cats, your dogs, they're all watching you not take these shots. And so you're giving them permission not to take shots as well. And that's not a life to live. We're here on this world to thrive, not just live. And just like my son says, I want to know what it feels like to score. I want to know what it feels like to live life in abundance. Why not you?
Ha. You can't take that shot if you don't. I mean, you can't make that shot if you don't take that shot.
I'm gonna take all the shots. Took quitting off the table.
Take all the shots. You ball hog.
know you do. You're ball hog,
I took quitting off the table a long time ago, brother. I'm taking all
There's
the
a difference
shots.
between taking shots and then being ball hog.
All right, man. Take the shots, brother.
But no, man, I agree with all y'all. Dude, I'm feeling inspired right now. All these quotes. But don't live in your fears. Live life failing forward, and success will get you. Each time you fail, it'll get you closer to your success, man.
That's it, brother.
I like it.
Plug us out. Plug.
I like it.
Leave us the plugs.
A plug. Yeah, I mean, it's a good topic. Jonathan says we're on Facebook, even though you don't see it. It's there. We're on IG, on YouTube, on TikTok. We don't have a Snapchat. Snapchat's dirty. But yeah, kidding aside, if you can obviously leave us a quote on some posts, leave us your thoughts. However you listen to us, like or subscribe would be awesome. If you only listen to audio, do us a favor and hop over to YouTube. Give us a subscribe as well. That'd be much obliged, much appreciated. But I
spread
have
the word too. Like spread it out. Like let people know about it.
don't be selfish.
We're grown. We're not just ordinary dudes. Like
Yeah.
at the very beginning, these ordinary dudes are like moving the needle. Like we're growing. We're not just some dudes. We got some things, guys.
A little bit.
Let's
but
go.
since we got quotes, I got 2 quotes I want to leave you with. It's kind of you'll find them kind of redundant to what you've already heard, but I mean that'll make sense. One says, "Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others," which I think is the one that Jonathan was.
Bro, you couldn't even finish my quote when I.
Yeah, no, that was the one you were referring to.
Yeah,
but
that's the one I was referring to. Yeah.
And then this one I've heard Will Smith say it, so I hear his voice when he says it. But he says, "He who says he can, and he who says he can't are both usually right."
There it is. That one's deep. I used it before. I forgot what it was, but oh yeah, it was The Rock. I heard The Rock say it in one of his TV shows, and I was like, "Oh, Rock is good too, brother." So we talking about
Jocko say it. If Jocko says it, I'll pass out. But anyways, you were born to be great, so go and do it. As always, thanks for joining us today. Until next time, peace and love.